Good day everyone. So we are the group 8 and we're going to discuss is all about planning the service delivery system.
Planning and design the service delivery system. The first step in service delivery system design is planning out the step and process in the entire system. Planning techniques for focus on constructing or diagramming a truly detailed step-by-step description of what the service delivery process involves, the service standard that must be met. First dot, check system first. The system need to be checked for problem before people are blamed. Hospitality managers must find the root cause of problem and implement solution to avoid future problems. And this root cause often lay in the system. Short-sheeted. Trying to save money, ties up elevators, increase guest dissatisfaction, increase room service costs, increase housekeeping labors. Lesson learned. Manager can solve all problems alone. Employee is a good source for solution. Perspective of entire delivery system needed for effective solutions. Second dot, designing and checking. Goal, fail no guest, delight every guest. Delight guest and design for their perspective. Some guiding principle. Study your customer, build delivery system that they expect, monitor system closely, early warning to detect possible failure. Follow up if not meeting guest expectation.
Developing in the service delivery system. When we say developing in the service delivery system, it means this is a service delivery can be defined as any contact with public administration during which customer, citizens, residents, or enterprises seek or provide data, handle their affair, or fulfill their duties. This service should be delivered in effective, predictable, reliable, and customer-friendly manners. These are the example of service delivery. The first one is local services, health services, legal services, and consulting services. Influence of the Junar Trilogy. Phase 1. Planning the service delivery system. When? Before guests arrive and while waiting. Phase 2. Monitoring the service experience. During guest experience. Phase 3. Assessing the experience to improve the system. What? Experience expected. Experience realized. Experience remembered. Who? Target customers, actual customers, past, current, potential, future customers. How? Setting service standard, blueprinting, universal service map, applying service standard and job performance standard MBWA, guest assessment, comment cards, survey, 800 numbers. In essence, the influence of Junar Trilogy is a way of thinking about quality. It fits all function, all levels, and all product and service line. The underlying concept is that managing for quality concept of the commercial process, quality planning, quality of design, and quality control, process, and regulatory. Planning the system. System planning is the phase in the system development lifecycle system. Planning is where an organization total information needs are identified, analyze, prioritize, and arrange organization creates and assess the original goals and expectation of a new system. Service standard. A service standard specifies requirements that should be fulfilled by a service to establish its fitness to purpose. The standard may provide definition, indicators of service quality and their levels, or specify a time period for delivery, such as the standard on handling customer complaints. Monitoring service experience. It is simple act of gathering consumer feedback sources such as social media, consumer forums, e-commerce reviews, and surveys to analyze and find meaning in consumer conservation. Monitoring customer experience is all about tracking the actual behavior of your real-life consumers. Assessing experience and improving the system. System evaluation is required to assess whether the system is meeting the objective it was designed to meet, such as on controlling access, identifying people in specific areas, detecting unauthorized entry. Blurred lines is a content and commerce where quit outlines things, but the lips between them are blurring more than ever, playing an apart. In a more than modern customer experience with a rapid rise in content consumption, retailers are starting to realize not only the power of good quality content and storytelling, but also the value it can add and the role it can play when woven throughout the shopper journey.
Planning techniques. Blueprinting. Blueprinting means that one prepares details plans for all that one intend to do before implementing any of the work. Implementers will know exactly what they are to do in which sequence and at what cost until the scheme is completed. Blueprinting is a standard method used to copy large architectural and construction drawing. A blueprint used to consist of white lines and blue background. A more recent process uses blue lines and on white background. Physical evidences. This is anything tangible your customer interact with and is usually the main channel for communicating with them. Input includes retail shops, websites, podcasts, or social medias. Customer's action. This is any activity your customer need to do to engage with the service of being provided. Input includes purchasing a product online or scheduling an appointment. On-stage visible contact employees action. This is anything a customer's experiences from the organization once they have been taken an action. Input includes receiving a product or speaking customer service. Backstage invisible contact employees. This is any activity the customer does not experience directly but is still required to deliver the service. Input includes packaging a product or writing a newsletter. Support process. These are the actions that support any of the prior 4 stages, usually without being experienced by the customers. Input includes supply chain, management, recruitment, or payroll. Additional details. Blueprints have long part of disciplines such as architecture and engineering, and are traditionally technical drawings. The blueprint has been adapted and popularized mainly by service designers to help teams visualize all processes and touchpoints involved in the delivery of service. Universal Service Map. Lines of implementation and internal interactions. Depicts interactions between the organization and the customers. Lines of visibility. Depicts everything the organization does that a user can see even though they cannot directly interact with it. Line of guest interactions depicts interactions within the organization that the customer does not see or interact with. Fishbone analysis. Fishbone diagram is a visualization tool for creating the potential causes of a problem. This tool is used in order to identify a problem's roots and causes, typically used for root cause analysis. A fishbone diagram combines the practice of brainstorming with a type of map template. It should be efficient, a test-carry technique to determine cause and effect. Fishbone diagram is useful in product development and troubleshooting processes, typically used to focus a conversation around the problem. After the group has brainstormed all the possible causes for a problem, the facilitators help the group to rate the potential cause according to their level of importance and diagram machinery. The name comes from a diagram design which looks more like a skeleton fish. Fishbone diagram are typically work right to left, with each large bone of a fish branching out to include smaller bones, each containing more details. Resource categories. Most of the time, manufacturing team will use 6 categories in fishbone diagrams, which are machine, methods, measurement, materials, manpower, and environment. It covers a lot of major aspects we come across in manufacturing settings. Pareto analysis. Pareto analysis is a simple decision-making technique that can help you to assess and prioritize different problems or tasks by comparing the benefits that solving each one will provide. Airport data. Fishbone diagrams are perhaps the best risk management tool in Aviation Safety Management System, or SMS, for gaining more comprehensive understanding of root causes of safety incidents. Fishbone diagram device is named from fish-like appearance that had several fins. Each fin or branch of a fishbone diagram describes different categories of situation, such as categories human or machines.
Program Evaluation Review Technique, or PERT, is a project management technique that shows the time taken by each component of a project and the total time required for its completion, while Critical Path Method, or CPM, is a step-by-step project management technique for process planning that defines critical and non-critical tasks with the goal of preventing time frame problems. PERT breaks down the project into events and activities and lays down their proper sequence, relationship, and duration in the form of a network, while CPM is ideally suited to projects consisting of numerous activities that interacts in a complex manner. What is network? A network is a graphical and logical model or plan of a project which lists out the sequence of various operations required to complete project. And the network is flow diagram consisting of activities and events. For example, in this diagram, you can see some letters like A, B, C, D, E, and F that are called the activities, and some numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 that are called the event. And this diagram is called the network. An activity, any portion of a project which consumes resources and has definite beginning and an end, is called an activity. It needs time for its performance. An activity is denoted by an arrow. The description of an activity is shown above the arrow, and number below the arrow indicates the duration. An event is the beginning of completion of an activity is termed as an event. It does not need time. It indicates a particular instant of time at which some specific milestone has been achieved. It represents by node. The shape of the node may be circle, square, or an oblong. And there's also a dummy activity. A dummy activity is an artificial activity in the network. It does not require time or any resources. The main objective of using a dummy is to show the logical relationship between the different activities. A dummy is denoted by dotted arrow. The 5 steps for building a network. Step 1. Activity event analysis. By listing all your tasks in the table, you get the clear overview of the steps which you can subsequently expand by adding information on sequence and the time necessary to complete each activity. Step 2. Activity event sequencing. While it's easy to predict the order of some activities, other tasks may require more in-depth analysis which will help you determine their order more easily. The third one is pessimistic time, the longest time in which the activity can be completed. After you identify the time estimates, you can calculate the expected time for each activity by using the following weighted average. Step 4. Diagramming the project. Once you establish the sequence of activities, you can represent both serial and parallel activities in the diagram. Each activity should represent a node in the network, and you can use arrows to show relationships between activities. The fifth one is identifying the critical path. By adding the times for the activities and determining the longest path, you create a critical path. The critical path involves the total amount of time necessarily to complete the project. The total project time doesn't change if activities outside the critical path speed up or slow down. The advantages of a PERT is beneficial for conducting a what-if analysis by analyzing the critical path. The likelihoods and different levels of uncertainties can be identified. It promotes coordination among various departments of a project. This improves decision-making, proficiencies, and planning. Through coordination, ample data is also available that makes it easier for project management. PERT network allows an analysis of all activities, which tell whether the project will be complete within the budget. PERT displays the critical path, which identifies activities that cannot be stayed under any condition. The disadvantages of a PERT methodologies are entirely dependent on predictions, which can lead to going overboard on the estimated budget. It can be less accurate to implement as there is no data available to model a project since it is only used for non-repetitive jobs. PERT is a time-focused and hence delays in activities can lead to several issues. And the advantages of a CPM. CPM identifies dependencies efficiently. It can identify critical activities that are of priority. CPM takes into account the resources required for a project in the most effective way. Project managers can be determined the precise cost and time required to complete a project. CPM offers an efficient technique to assess the procedural and technical changes that might occur, and the disadvantages of a CPM can be extremely complicated to implement in case of large-scale projects. Critical path identification consumes more time for projects on larger scales. Creating a CPM can be time-consuming at times. CPM is not effective to comply with sudden changes in the project midway. addition, the PERT simulation approach allows management to cope with the uncertainty and stability of time estimates used in the early planning stage of project management. By simulating the PERT network, the PS model reveals the likelihood of shifting critical paths while the project is still in the planning or bidding stage. The computer simulation for all. Computer simulation is increasingly used in physics and engineering to predict and probable outcome of experiments and to aid their interpretation. The methods of simulation are based on a range of numerical techniques for treating ordinarily and partial differential equations. Since much of physics can be broken down into a relatively small set of fundamental equations, a few general methods can be widely applied.
Targeting a specific problem areas in service delivery system. To prevent problems, first we need to do is demand forecasting. Demand forecasts often lack sufficient historical sales data for analysis, especially when it comes to newer products. Those often don't offer enough historical sales data. Therefore, forecasting new product is complex and causes problems like e.g. for inventory management, which leads to higher inventory costs. Training. Adequate trainings of employees before they ever get the chance to serve a customer can prevent failures. These types are usually used in all steps in a training process: the orientation, in-house, mentorship, and external training. The training utilized depends on the amount of resources available for training, the type of company, and the company places on training. Quality teams. Effective teams pursue a common outcome and have a common goal they want to reach. Healthy teams have a mutual respect between members of the team and management. Plus, teams members value one another's contributions and skill sets. Having a team allows people with different strengths to work together. Pagkayok. The definition of pagkayok is failure preventing device or procedure, mistake proofing or avoid mistake in Japanese. Sheigo Shingo, Japanese quality expert. We have three types of inspections. The first one is source inspection. It is potential mistakes are located at their source and fixed before they can get into the delivery system. The second one is self-inspection. People check their own work. The third is successive inspection. The person next in the delivery system checks the quality and accuracy of the previous person's work. Warning and control Fokayog. Warning Fokayog is before error is made, and control Fokayog is keep a process from beginning and continuing after error is made. We have three types of warning and control Fokayog. The first one is contact Fokayog. It is monitor the item's physical characteristic to determine if they meet predefined specifications. The second one is fixed values, used when a certain step is repeated. And the last one is the motion step or sequence method. It is used when more than one step is involved. Pagkayoks for customers. To prevent customers from their own problems, customers can be prepared to do their part even before the service experience begins. Cross-functional project and matrix organizations. It is organizing people and groups to enable them to focus on the guest needs wants, and expectations across the boundaries of functional organizational unit. Cross-functional structure is a group of people with a variety of expertise who come together to achieve a common goal. It typically includes employees from all levels of an organization. The advantages and disadvantages. We have three advantages of a matrix organizational structure. The first one is flexibility between departments result in shared knowledge. The second one is open communication leads to better informed decisions. And the last one is cross collaboration boosts employee engagement and morale. And we have also three disadvantages from a matrix organizational structure. The first one is overlapping teams, lack of clarity around roles and responsibilities. The second one is multiple managers or potential conflict. And the last one is more information, the slower decision making. Real boss. For instance, the line of discipline manager is usually perceived as the real boss by the employees in a matrix organization.